So today we are going to explore about whatever we know and whatever has been written and whatever narrative has been set about Manjushri. We're going to explore about that. Okay. So Manjushri, as a person, I think as a person, as a sage, as a rishi, as a sage who has walked this land before Mahabharata, as a sage, as a person, he's lost. I think so. So because there is no mention of his, as a person, how he walked, what he was, and as a sage, as a guru, how he lived his life. There is no mention at all in any of the scriptures or in any of the history other than single one book. So that one book where the karma kanda, the actions, the divine interventions of that great sage is recorded in only one book. So that book is Swayambhu Purana. So Manjushri was a very great sage. So whatever information I have, I'll be sharing it to you today. So Manjushri is one of the most uh, high caliber sage we can ever know in the history. So what he has done in terms of his teachings and in terms of the civilization that he gave to Nepali people. So in that term, Manjushri is a very credited. He is one of a master who has to be remembered, but he's gone out of the history. So that is the tragedy that's there today. So whatever I've been researching about him and I couldn't find much about him. So whatever I know, I've found. So I'm sharing it to you. So according to Swayambhu Puran, which is the main text in Nepal, it describes how Kathmandu Valley was a big lake at one time, huge lake, and that lake was called Nagavas or Kaladaha. And suddenly, one lotus is sprung out in that lake, one divine lotus which had a light which radiated, and it was five colored lotus. So the light that this lotus radiated gave spiritual possibility to whoever was around that lotus. It was like a spiritual power center for everyone. So because of this, it was hugely popular at that time, long time, millennia ago. So this lotus had sprung up and it became famous all over the world. So in this sequence, what happened was Manjushri in China. So according to Swayambhu Puran, it clearly mentions that it's Panchashirsa mountain. Panchashirsa mountain, which means five terraced mountain. There lived a yogi, a sage, and his name was Manjushri. And in his meditation, while he was sitting with his eyes closed, he had a vision of this lotus. So having this vision, he decided to walk all the way from that part of the China and come here and drain this lake out and then start a civilization, enshrine this lotus which had this much of a possibility, spiritual possibility. So according to Swayambhu Puran, and this remember this story is not at all there in the Chinese scriptures also. So in China, Manjushri is not a sage. In China or in anywhere in the world, Manjushri has not, as a person, is not there. Like how Krishna is a person, was a person, but he had this quality of Vishnu. The non-physical form of Krishna is also referred to as Vishnu Tattva, Vishnu element. Likewise, the Chinese have made the name Chinese have given the name of non-physical dimension a Manjushri. So when we say Manjushri in China, it's not a person sitting there who sat there, but it's a dimension. It's a non-physical dimension, but it's not a person at all. So that's the injustice, I think, that has been happening to Manjushri. But according to Swayambhu Purana and few yogis, Manjushri was a person. He came to Kathmandu Valley, and it's completely recorded. The gods is still there. All the proofs are still there. The cave he sat, where he sat, is still there. The mountain where he walked is still there. Everything is still there. So we had a very full proof that Manjushri as a sage existed. And so Kathmandu, he came to Kathmandu. At that time, it was called Nagavas. So he came here with his wives, Moksada and Varada. Name is also clearly written there, Moksada and Varada. With his two wives, he came here and then saw this lotus that was glowing in its full glory. So, seeing this lotus, he decided, okay, we should drain this lake out. Why do we drain such a big lake just for the lotus? You should imagine what kind of a lotus it was. For a person, a sage, to come from China and to decide to drain the lake out, what kind of a lotus should it be? So you can imagine the lotus was something. It's not just random lotus. There must be something. He decided to drain the whole lake out, means it is something. So that's why. And so he goes up in the one of the mountain there, just in Kathmandu Valley, just in the bank of this lake. Then he goes to the top of it, and he has this sword called Chandrahasa. So this sword is not just a random sword. So it is energized, it's occult powered sword he has, and it's called Chandrahasa. So he puts this sword upright in the mandala, proper geometrical sign in mandala, does all kinds of rituals, energizes this, and after some time, he takes out that sword and cuts the hill that is there just in front of him, the Chovar hill. He cuts that hill. And if you come here in Kathmandu, you can clearly see the Chovar hill, the gorge that is made. It cannot be natural. The shape of the gorge, it cannot be natural. It has to be cut down. Because if you see, if something has happened naturally, there should be smoothness in it. Slowly the water made something out of it. But when you look at that, look at this gorge, it's clearly some disturbance is there, some friction is there. So that is a proof, one proof that this Chovar has been cut, and the history says that Manjushri came from China and then cut this Chovar. So that is one incident of Manjushri that's been recorded in Nepal. So, and there is another story also supporting him, what kind of a sage he was, all-knowing sage. So at that time he was one of the most capable sages that was there in this part of the world. So one, to support this story, there's another story in the Swayambhu Purana about Manjushri, which is because about Manjushri, nowhere nothing is written about Manjushri. So whatever is written, I'm trying to tell you, it might not be relatable, but still just to show that something is written about him. So Manjushri, one guy is there, Dharmarakshita. His name is Dharmarakshita, and he has his own disciples. So he's teaching something to his disciples, and suddenly one day one of the disciple asked about 12 vowels, the meaning of 12 vowels. So he's awestruck. What is this? I don't know about this. I've been meditating, I've been doing all kinds of sadhana, but I don't know about this. So he, sits in one place, ashamed. I couldn't answer my disciple. So such in same, he's sitting there and he had this vision, okay, whom can I go and ask to reveal about this meaning of 12 vowels? So in his meditation, he saw that, okay, there's Manjushri, who is all knowing, there's no one like him in this age. So he is the one I should go for. So he sets out in his journey and he goes to one place and he arrives at one house, and in that house he's seeing that, he's one guy is there and he's plowing the field. But generally these people, when they plow the field, they are using ox, but this guy, he's using tigers to plow his land. So he thinks, what is this, what kind of man is this? He is using tigers to plow the land. I've never seen this. He is completely blown away seeing this, but he doesn't know that he's Manjushri. But after some time the tigers also disappear, and he takes a rest in his house. So later at night, he reveals everything about him, and he goes there, learns all the meaning of 12 vowels, which in tantric tradition is very much sought after. So after learning everything, he goes back and teaches all this, whatever he learned, to his disciples, and Manjushri comes flying to the place where this Dharmarakshita is, giving a sermon to his disciples. Then, because Manjushri is coming in such a disgusting form that he's ashamed to, you know, tell his disciple that, okay, my Manjushri, my guru has come, my preceptor has come. So he can't do that. He couldn't do that. So he's ashamed little bit. So because of this, Manjushri gets fired up and he gets angry, and things happen there. So this story is there. So these two stories are there in Swayambhu Puran supporting that Manjushri was clearly a sage. Is not just a non-physical dimension. It's not just that. He was a proper sage who walked this land. And another thing is, uh, Manjushri is one of the sages who dissolved himself while trying to grasp the knowledge that is there in Kailas. So in Kailas, uh, one rishi, one sage from Jain tradition, and many other sages, Agastya Muni, uh, sage Risava, had left their body in Kailas trying to grasp whatever knowledge that is there, trying to grasp it, they themselves got dissolved into the Kailas. So Manjushri was also one of the sages who was capable enough to go to Kailas and perceive the knowledge that is there, that is kept there in Kailas. So he was that capable who could perceive the knowledge that was kept there in Kailas. So and he was one of the sages who got dissolved while trying to grasp the knowledge. So he left his body there, trying to grasp the knowledge of Kailas. So yes, Manjushri, because of Manjushri, Kathmandu as we know it today is a civilization. Because of Manjushri, whole tantric tradition has been set out, especially in Kathmandu Valley, the place where Swayambhu is still there. The tantric tradition, the lineage is still set out there only because of Manjushri. So all his contribution is there, but unfortunately, he is lost in the history. Nobody, no one, no any tradition recognizes him as a living person, except for the few clairvoyant yogis and Swayambhu Puran, of course. And in Nepal also, not much has been written about Manjushri. Even in textbook, the one who gave us Kathmandu civilization, one who drained the lake out for the lotus to be, glorified. So that kind of person is lost in the history. In textbook, particularly in social studies, only 2 lines are given about him in Nepali textbook. So I don't know. I don't think that China has any record about him. According to DeepSeek and many other texts that I've researched, there is no mention of a sage who is called Manjushri except for the Purana, Swayambhu Purana. So I think he should be remembered as a sage, and that way Kathmandu Valley would be, would in our minds at least, Kathmandu Valley would be reaching another level. We would be looking up to it in a different way than now, and Manjushri uh, has to be remembered. I think whatever he knew is still there in Mount Wutao. I've heard from Chinese people that it's a very, very powerful place. The five terraced mountain, which is there in China, is still a very, very, very powerful place. And in Nepal also, in Kathmandu also, there's Manjushri cave. Chovar Gorge is there. So yes, it's a really, really powerful place that everyone should visit. Saying this, revealing, exploring a little bit about Manjushri was a good experience for me. Thank you so much. See you in next video.